would you like to make an opening statement before we take our questions?
Yeah. No, I just thought that our team played extremely well. Great team victory in all three phases. Thought special teams really set the tone with the blocked field goal. We also had a blocked punt for a scoop score, touchdown. Defense played great. Situational football, fourth down stops when we needed it. Offensively, we were able to be balanced to some degree. And, you know, I just have to speak to my team because we had some inner turmoil we had to address. And tonight I watched a team that learned how to win within, and we saw the results without in terms of getting a win. You know, it was a very emotional week last week after the loss to Lane. And it just brought us to the surface what we needed to address as a team. And, you know, we are constantly focusing on our team spirit and defining that and setting the standard and protecting that standard. So with that said, it was good to see them respond the way that they did. I couldn't be more proud of some of our seniors that really stepped up in that leadership capacity. And I owe a lot of credit to them and our coaching staff to keep this thing on trail. And, you know, it was just a great learning lesson for us last week. And hopefully we can keep the ball rolling. But this was a great complimentary football in terms of getting the victory tonight.
Okay, questions, Coach? Please identify yourself with your questions.
Mike Patton, I want to ask, you know, how good did it feel to have your starter back and Draylen Ellis quarterback?
I think you can see the difference that he makes. He gets the ball out fast. He makes great decisions. He's a problem when he gets going. And you know, the core of our offense really isn't all back yet. You know, the star is still dealing with his toe. Our receivers aren't totally back and totally healthy yet. And, you know, when we get the chemistry right, you know, this could be a unit that could be pretty special. We stay healthy and continue to work toward being a dominant offense. So with seven back there, and this is really, God, he missed last week, so this is really like his second or third week that he's been in the offense. Now he's starting to get confidence, he's starting to understand it. You can see the game starting to slow down for him, and he's only going to get better. Just got to keep him healthy, keep him upright, get the protect up front, and I'm really happy to see that part of it too. You know, of us protecting him. So, you know, Draylen is really coming along just fine for us.
All right, how good did it feel to get this win before starting conference play?
Whew, man, I felt really good. I mean, you know, we had a really tough schedule coming out the gate. You know, three tough opponents with Eastern Washington, and you know, we had a situation where we could have possibly taken it into overtime. We played tough, Jackson State tough. You know, MTSU, we found out who they were. Underestimated our opponent at Lane College a little bit, and missed, you know, 10 total starters, and we found a way to possibly win the game, only to lose the game by 1 point. So it was a long month through September, and you kind of can get discouraged a little bit by not seeing the fruits of your labor, because we worked our tails off through last fall, going into winter, going through this spring and into the summer, and not to see the fruit of your labor was really discouraging. So, you know, we have to stay the course, we have to continue to believe, trust the process, show the positives, learn how to lose before we learn how to win. And with a win like this tonight, how we came out, kind of, you know, fumbled the ball offensively, and then, you know, it could have gone south for us, but we didn't give into that. I thought our guys just really persevered through it, and this can really build confidence. Now this is a building block for us, and yet another one. You know, the losses are significant because you learn through it, but you know, now that we had a little taste of victory, now we can really get back to work and strive on the things we need to work on moving forward.
All right, Eddie, Mike Robertson, African American athlete and proud alum of this great university. How much more of an emphasis was it, because this is homecoming, which is always big, but it's homecoming against another HBCU? How big was that?
We just line up and play our schedule, but it is very special to play another HBCU for homecoming, because to see the stadium, packed like that was special, and it makes a big difference. Last year we were on the Titans' home sideline, but to be on the other sideline now, to have that type of support, the energy, you can feel it. Driving in this morning, looking at all the tailgates, I got chills. I was like, oh God, this is beautiful. I wish I could get out my car and go to some of these tailgates and just immerse myself into the culture. But it's really a special place in terms of TSU and HBCU football, and certainly on homecoming when everybody's coming home to see back at Tennessee State, to see their children play and so forth. So it was really a special weekend all the way through.
Yeah, Coach, can you talk a little bit? You mentioned the past month has been difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of go a little bit in depth about how tough that is to go through the losing that you were going through and try to keep this team together, try to put out any fires that may exist? You mentioned, there was a little bit of team turmoil. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but all of that takes its toll on kids who are 18, 19, 20 years old. Just talk a little bit about how you tried to kind of hold the ship together during that, because I know last week you mentioned that you felt like this team's better than the 0-4 record.
Yeah,
I did. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think talent-wise, we have the talent, but we're not a very good football team, meaning that I didn't see the leadership that I needed to see in them. I didn't see the accountability that great teams have, or the chemistry, or the trust, or the love, or the respect, and that goes across the board. And that part, was being defined. I felt like, I think last year's team had better leadership than this year's team. And I think, we had to work through that. And, again, the losses are lessons. And I think when you look at it on the field, we've had maybe 4 or 5 plays we can point to where we can be 3-1. But we weren't able to execute on those plays. It's still us learning each other and growing with each other. And some things had to come to surface that we had to deal with head on. And it's a non-negotiable. We have to meet it, we have to embrace it, and we have to eliminate it. I believe in assets and liabilities. Either you're an asset or you're a liability. And liabilities will get eliminated. And that was clear. So moving forward, again, we're establishing the standard, and we continue to define the standard. Now we have to protect that standard at all costs. So I think a lesson learned there. So not all is lost for us. I think losses can be good and healthy as long as you learn from them.
Quick follow-up. Was that something that you guys addressed this past week, or is it something that you guys have addressed consistently for the past 4 weeks?
Consistently for the past 4 weeks. And I think, it came to its head last week against Lane when we really felt the sting of that loss. And guys were very emotional about it. And it took us a while to get back on track. And I was a little concerned about, our mentality coming out, how well we would approach this game, whether, we got hit with adversity, what would happen. But they responded extremely well, and I had to trust that. And I told them, I said, this goes a long way. When you can break through what we broke through as a team together, it was a hurricane last week, down in Florida. Energetically, we had our own hurricane going on. But we steadfast, we made some decisions, and we look to grow from that.
Last question for Coach.
So in the year two here at this great HBCU, how welcome do you feel, and how do you feel the way that, the level that you are when you first got hired and where you are now? Did you meet the standards that you thought?
Right now, I don't judge myself on wins and losses. Not right now. I mean, it's way too early. I think there's so much more work that needs to be done internally. Again, in terms of establishing the program, establishing the standard. I keep saying that, but that's where we are as a team. And you can talk about competitive excellence, and you can talk about consistency and championship drive, but we are at the foundation still. And we're trying to build this on concrete, not sand. We're trying to eliminate all of that. And that comes up time and time again that we have to address. So, my second year, from first to second year, I've learned a lot. I'm learning the pulse of this team, learning the nuances of head coaching, in terms of just changing schedules and knowing when to speak, when to shut up, when to listen. And it's a difficult seat to sit in. Not all is fair. Life isn't fair, and sometimes you have to be the judge and the jury and live with it. And sometimes you just wonder if you make the right choices. That's why this position is such a spiritual one. I truly rely on the Spirit to guide me in a situation and understand that my mission is not to win ball games, it's to create winners in life. And these young men, again, will look back on this past week and understand, hey, when I'm up against the trouble, I know how to get out of it. I know how to work through it. I know the mentality is put my head down and go to work. And it was just great to see that.
Thank you, Brady.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.